Good afternoon. I pray that your Sunday was filled with spaces and places of joy, of peace, of happiness, and of self-care. For those whose dads are still alive, I pray that on yesterday, which was Father's Day, that you were able to celebrate him. For those whose fathers have transitioned, I pray that you were able to hold that memory. I pray that the memories that may not have always been as great as you would like, that there were memories that you could hold on to. And if it wasn't with your dad, maybe it was another strong male presence that had been in your life that helped to shape you to be the person that you are. And for those who yesterday was just difficult or hard, I send you my prayers. I send you my hope for peace and hope for that you will come to a place of peace as you work through that relationship. We're going to start a new series. We're going to talk about change. Now, I know very few people who just love change, particularly if you have been a victim of childhood trauma. Change is difficult because what you want is for things to be quite predictable. You want things to be in a way that you can predict what will happen so that you won't get any surprises. Because some of us, if we have been traumatized as children, when we were attacked, when the trauma occurred, we were taken by surprise. And so we have vowed once we became adults and had a little bit more control over our lives to try to control everything in our lives, to try to control not just the things in our lives, but the people in our lives, which can be problematic, which can impact healthy relationships. So we want to talk about change. Change you must. And you can say, well, I don't have to change. Well, change is important because change brings progression. Think about the seasons. If it always stayed summer, that would be a problem. Eventually, the earth would dry out. It would not be a place where crops could continue to grow. If it was always winter, that could be another challenge. And so in a lot of places where we live, at least I'll talk about where I live, I get to experience the 4 seasons. And if people ask me what's my favorite season, I don't know. I like the changes that come with each season. And so we're going to talk about change. What I want you to do is to identify something in your life, not a person, but something that you have control over. I'm saying not a person because you cannot change anybody else other than yourself. They have their own self-will. So I want you to think about something in your life that you would like to change or that you know needs to be changed. It may be something that someone has told you. It may have been something that multiple people have told you needs to be changed. It may be something that you instinctively know that you could be progressing further, that you could have more joy in your life if you were able to change a particular habit or a particular way of thinking or how you integrate with the world. I'm going to be using, for those of you who've read my book, you know that I spent about 18 years in active addiction. I took whatever I could take, whatever kind of chemical I could take to change my mood. I didn't care if it was alcohol or if it was drugs. As long as it changed my mood, I took it. And maybe a couple of years before I actually was able to overcome that addiction, I knew that a change was needed. I knew that, let me say it again, a couple of years before I actually did something about it, I knew that it was problematic. And as we continue our conversation, we will continue to focus on change, the things that stop us from changing. Sometimes I think the most important thing that stops us from pursuing change is fear of the unknown. If I make this change in my life, then what will happen? If I change my level of distrust, will I be taken advantage of? If I stop this particular behavior, then what's next? So I invite you today to spend some time thinking about, is there anything in your life that you would like to change that you have control over? Again, anything in your life that you would like to change that you have control over. And I want you to think about this intentionally. I did not say that you had to be ready to change. Just identify whatever it is that complicates the relationships in your lives, whatever it is that stops you from feeling good about yourself, whatever it is that that challenges you in ways that can possibly be destructive. And so with that, I invite you to give it some thought, because tomorrow we will begin our conversation on change, and we will talk about the stages of change and how we can take that thing and be able to change it in a way that feels good, that feels affirming, and that we can benefit from. And we will do all of that on purpose. I will talk with you tomorrow. Love you all. Bye-bye.